I'm Rich Cross. I'm a lead network security engineer with WI. I work very closely with the Palo Alto environment here at WI, and then customers that have Palo Alto within their environment. So if you have any questions about Palo Alto in general, I know a fair bit about it. So if you have any questions, we can spend some time just talking about Palo Alto in general. So WI is a privately owned company. We're a value-added reseller. We work for many companies around the globe. Here is an overview of some of the network security partners that we work with and cloud security partners. This one is geared around Palo Alto. We work with just about everything under the Palo Alto umbrella, from Cortex to Prisma Access to the Strata line, which is the next generation firewall and what we will review today. And then we also work with many other security vendors in the space. So now we will get into Palo Alto slides for the ultimate test drive. The ultimate test drive is Palo Alto's ability to put a scripted lab in front of you and have you as the customer be presented the ability to essentially test out the features and functionalities of, in this case, the next generation firewall. So Palo Alto, they are best in class for security. It's not even close if you look at the breadth of security that they cover, and then the competitors in each one of those spaces. Palo Alto greatly outperforms anyone else in the space for the most part, whether it be Cisco, Juniper, FortiGates. When it comes down to the security aspect of that appliance, Palo Alto is number one in the field. And they can secure many things across the enterprise, public cloud, mobile, HQ, SaaS applications. And then within that security stack, they have multiple offerings, which some of them are listed here. As of recent, Palo Alto has revamped their line of firewalls. So we're moving into what are the 400 series or the 34, 54, 1400 series, where it was the two before. So you had the 3200, the 5200, and then the 200 series. So here in front of you, you can see they're coming out with more makes and models so that they can conform to more network layouts is the way I'll say it, but there's a better terminology there. But they have a more fitting form factor to the different networks that you might see out there. The 5400 series is where you'll see your larger enterprises, and then 1400 to 400 series is where you'll see your smaller branch offices, things like remote doctor's offices or remote buildings on a school campus, things of that nature. So as well as hardware firewalls, Palo Alto has software firewalls, and they can run across pretty much any major cloud out there and on-prem virtualization platform, whether it be VMware, whether it be AWS, Azure, you name it. For the most part, they have a software or VM version firewall that can run within that environment to secure it. AI Ops is not necessarily new, but it's getting more advanced as they start to offer their cloud applications. AI Ops is your ability to essentially help yourself manage or operationally manage your firewalls, make sure you're doing what's in the security best practice, and then making sure that you don't have any gaps in that security that could allow for exploiting or could be exploited. Web proxy is a fairly new feature of Palo Alto next generation firewalls. Traditionally, they always had the transparent proxy. So you put the firewall in line to your web traffic, and then you could apply decryption and advanced URL filtering around that traffic. They now have an explicit web proxy, which allows for a more traditional proxy migration. If you run traditional proxies today, you could simply enable a traditional proxy or web proxy feature within Palo Alto and maintain that proxy configuration within a browser or system settings. Panorama is your management console for pretty much anything under the Palo Alto umbrella. It manages, of course, your Strata line, which is your next generation firewall, whether it be container, virtual, or physical hardware. And then it also manages your Prisma Access offerings. It would also be the orchestrator of any SD-WAN deployments you did within the PAN-OS SD-WAN deployment. And then it can also be used as a log aggregation and user ID aggregation point. So App ID, that's been Palo Alto's bread and butter for a long time. App ID is what they're known for, that layer 7 fingerprinting and essentially identification of traffic as it passes through the Palo Alto firewall. This goes a little bit over how it learns that application throughout the inspection process and through the policy check. Cloud Identity Engine. This is a newer offering from Palo Alto that allows you to bring in multiple identity sources into the Cloud Identity Engine, with the Cloud Identity Engine then feeding your Palo Alto environment. It's very useful if you're running things like mobile users for Prisma Access, or even trying to integrate user ID redistribution points between a Prisma Access and, say, a traditional next generation firewall on-prem deployment. It is a cloud-based application that would tie in with your authentication sources and identity providers, and then be that sole source of that information to essentially your entire Palo Alto environment, whether it be Strataline or Prisma Access. Content ID, this is really the security aspect of Palo Alto. So this is going to be making sure that you're decrypting traffic and then being able to do anti-spyware, vulnerability, or anti-malware inspection of that traffic. Some of that is machine learning. Some of that is signatures that are developed over time and kept into a database. And then even today, you can do custom signatures, snort signatures within the Palo Alto environment. Palo Alto's main ability to be able to provide security while also allowing for a high throughput on their firewalls is the single pass architecture. So when that packet enters the firewall and it starts that inspection process, it is a single process throughout the life cycle of inspecting that packet. There's no point where it has to go through multiple processors for it to be go fully through that inspection process of matching a session to identifying content ID to then taking an action on that inspection. So Global Protect is Palo Alto's remote access solution. Global Protect agent is the same agent you would use for connecting to, say, a Prisma Access VPN or an on-prem next generation firewall VPN. And it can be used to connect mobile devices, laptops, you name it, pretty much any OS out there, whether it be Linux, Windows, Mac OS, iOS for the phones. You can connect just about any device using Global Protect to your Palo Alto or Prisma Access point of presence. SD-WAN is a newer feature within, I'd say newer, it's not newer in regards to the PAN-OS edition, but the implementation of the CloudGenix and SD-WAN solution, it's newer. It's about 1.5 years, 2 years old now from a fully baked and in service and production through Palo Alto Networks. This kind of covers two solutions in one diagram, one being what is the on-box or PAN-OS SD-WAN solution, and then the other that is your CloudGenix or your Prisma Access SD-WAN solution. And then within both of those, you also have a concept of Prisma Access remote networks. All three of them are used for essentially connecting branches to each other or back to a hub, or creating a central egress point to the internet. And then with Palo Alto Networks, you can layer on either one of those three to be able to essentially do that, connect remote networks back to the headquarters, or use it for that shared internet egress, or in this case, you can see shared point of access to SaaS applications or cloud environments.